Well, if you never got around to picking up the 2020 Marvel Avengers game, now is your chance. You better do it quick because on September 30th, 2023, Crystal Dynamics is officially ending support of the game. Now, what does that mean and why should you care? Well, first and foremost, it means it will not be available to purchase digitally anymore. It's going to disappear from every digital storefront on every platform. You'll still be able to pick up a physical copy for PlayStation and Xbox consoles, but if you have a digital-only console or you're trying to play on PC, well, you'll be out of luck. It's going to be gone forever. What else does it mean? Well, it means there will be no more updates. Crystal Dynamics has said so far that there's no plan to shut the multiplayer servers down, so the game will still be playable for the foreseeable future online with friends, and presumably you'll be able to play the single player content offline for the rest of time. If you own the game, you can play that part at least forever, and I will say it's definitely worth playing. I picked it up recently, and this is not the same game that it was at launch. I didn't expect much. I actually didn't expect to like it very much, but I saw it on sale for like $6 and I decided to grab it, and I was blown away, to be honest. I was very impressed. As I mentioned, the game is not the same as it was when it came out. If you pick up the game at all in any fashion, whether it's a physical copy or a digital copy, your game will automatically be updated to the definitive version. This means you get all the DLC, all the premium items that you used to have to pay for. You get it all for free now. There are no more microtransactions, no more paid expansions or cosmetics. It's all there automatically. Doesn't matter if you buy a used copy for console or if you buy a digital code for it, you get everything. Part of the problems this game had at launch were there just wasn't a lot of content. People were disappointed by only having a handful of heroes to start out with and just a single 10-hour-ish campaign to play through. On top of all that, they paid more than $60 US in a lot of cases. They paid for special editions. I know some people spent like $80 on it at launch, and they were really disappointed when they were slapped in the face with all these opportunities to buy more cosmetic items and microtransactions. All of that's gone, and there is so much more content to the game today. The roster of playable characters has doubled. The PlayStation versions allow you to play as Spider-Man, which should be noted. You should consider that before you decide which version to buy. Spider-Man is only playable on the PlayStation 4 and 5, bringing the total number of characters to 12. You have 11 characters on other platforms. I will say that playing as Spider-Man is cool. I mean, Spider-Man's my favorite superhero, always has been. But after playing the Insomniac Spider-Man games on the PS4, it's a little bit lackluster. It's a little disappointing. It just doesn't feel as good, which is to be expected, right? This is an Avengers game. Its focus is on all the other characters. Spider-Man's really an afterthought. They couldn't have put all the same amount of polish and effort into this one character as Insomniac did, having, a whole series of games devoted to this one character. It's just not going to be that way. Still cool to have Spider-Man in there, and if you have a PlayStation console to play this on, I would say go for that version. But if you don't, you're not missing out on too much. And I say that as a Spider-Man fan. This game does have a bunch of missions and storylines that can be played online with friends, but so far I've only played this solo and I have had a great time. If you think this is going to be a lackluster single player experience, you are wrong. This is a great game. The story mode is awesome. And the main story probably will take you about 10 hours or so to complete. This is the origin story of Kamala Khan, or Miss Marvel. However, each and every one of the main Avengers cast gets their time to shine throughout the story, and you'll be playing as everybody throughout the thing. It starts off, you're Kamala Khan, you are just a child, and you're at this Avengers event, and she's so excited. She's the biggest fangirl out there for the Avengers, and she gets this amazing opportunity. She's entering a contest. She made an Avengers comic book, and while she's at this event, she gets to meet all the Avengers, but things quickly go awry. There's a big explosion, and a bunch of crazy stuff happens. Everybody has to evacuate. Well, we fast forward 5 years into the future and we learn that that whole catastrophe, it had a lot of consequences, and the Avengers were ultimately blamed for it. They were villainized for it, and they have disbanded and pretty much gone into hiding. No more Avengers. Now the world is supposedly protected by this organization called AIM. Oh yeah, Captain America's dead too, so That's cool. Meanwhile, this chemical explosion that was part of the whole fiasco, it has affected a lot of people, and it has given people sort of mutations or superpowers, however you want to look at it. Kamala Khan is one of those, and now she has this stretchy body. She can grow really big and make her fists huge, and she's got kind of super strength. She's kind of like Mr. Fantastic in a way, but she's not buying this whole story. She thinks there's more to it. She still thinks the Avengers are the good guys here, and there's some sort of big conspiracy or misunderstanding. So she's basically setting out to uncover it. And by the way, AIM, this organization, is now trying to hunt down these Inhumans who have superpowers and cure them or do something to them, but it's all very shady and very suspicious. She's on a mission to expose AIM for the villainous group they are, and along the way, she takes up the task of reuniting the Avengers. One by one, she's finding and seeking out these former Avengers and bringing everybody back together, and it's all very exciting, it's all very full of heart, and it'll give you the feels for sure. If you're a fan of Marvel, if you're a fan of third-person action games, you're gonna like it, I promise you. Put aside whatever negativity you heard about this game before. This is a great game and a great single-player story. As for the gameplay itself, yeah, it's an action game. It has elements of platforming, hand-to-hand combat, shooting. It depends on your character because each character plays a little bit different. Each one has their own styles of getting around and of fighting. Everybody has their own super special moves that can be used when their special meter charges up. You've got combinations of light attacks and heavy attacks, ranged attacks. And the more you play as each of the characters, you gain experience, you can level up and learn new abilities. So the game just gets more fun as you go. The more you play it, the more fun these characters become to control. Of course, Miss Marvel uses her fists and her legs to punch and kick people, and she can run around and swing around from tree branches and stuff like that. She can grow huge and just do massive damage to people as well. She can do a stretchy punch to hit enemies that are far away. Meanwhile, the Hulk, he's just this big brute as you would expect him to be, but he can also like grab onto walls and jump off, and he can do his thunderclap and create shock waves and just do a ton of damage. He can pick up enemies and smash them on the ground and swing them around into other enemies and pick up big chunks of earth and just hurl it at people. Iron Man, on the other hand, of course, he's got his armor. He can take off and fly through the sky super quickly, and it's always fun to fly around as Iron Man, shoot laser beams at people. And then, of course, Thor is like super powerful. He can also fly. He can throw his hammer at people. He's got this probably the most powerful special ability in the game where he just brings lightning down on enemies. You got Black Widow, who is very fast. She can whip out her guns and shoot quickly from far away. And of course, she's good at hand-to-hand combat. She's got a special where she brings out her staff and can just beat people up with it. There's a bunch of different characters. Each one is special in their own way and is just so much fun to play as. Aside from the main story, you have a bunch of other extra missions, so you can really grind it out and level up your characters, and you can invite other players to join you on these missions. And I would recommend it if you're gonna play a lot of these side missions, because a lot of them tend to be protecting NPCs or something like King of the Hill, where you have to control certain points of the map or protect people, and it's like your AI teammates just don't always do a good job. Like if you had a squad of real life people playing this game together on a team, you would each spread out and defend the people at all the different checkpoints. But these AI companions just don't do that. They just follow you, and they, it's hard to be three places at once when your team is all on you. I wish they would just spread out and help me, protect the important objectives, but that can be a little frustrating. To be honest, I didn't really care about those side missions. I just played through the story and I had a great time. After the main story too, you get all these DLC campaigns for free now. There's a Kate Bishop campaign where you play as Kate Bishop. She joins the Avengers, and she was like the former Hawkeye before the male version of Hawkeye that we know. She's got this teleporting ability, and she's got her bow and arrows, which are super fun to use and just take out enemies from far away. And she's just an all-around really fun character to play as. Then you've got the other Hawkeye campaign after that, And last but not least, we have the Black Panther campaign, and this one is much longer than the other DLC campaigns. None of them are as long as the main story, but collectively they can easily double the length of the original story mode, giving you many more hours of enjoyment here if you enjoy the game. I really enjoyed the game. I think it's worth giving a chance for sure. The main story mode has to be played alone. The additional campaigns can be played with friends, so just throwing that out there as well. I do recommend playing the single player story first. It'll just kind of get you used to the feel for the game, help you level up your characters a little bit, and just also because the DLC campaigns pretty much continue the story from where it left off. So I recommend playing the story by yourself first. Then if you want to get some friends together or just continue on the DLC stuff by yourself, either way, it's a good time. It's not perfect. It's not a perfect 10 out of 10 game, but I'd give it a solid 8 at this point for sure. And the fact that I picked it up for like $6, I actually got it for PC for like $6 on Humble Bundle. It was actually like 5 something. And then I wanted to get footage of Spider-Man, and I wanted to just have access to that. So I picked up the PS4 version as well. You can get that for like $6 at GameStop. I had store credit, so I got it for $1. I cannot complain. I am a happy camper. My point is, you can get this game dirt cheap, and you're running out of time to do so. I don't know if the physical editions will always remain cheap. They might, but given what we've seen with other Marvel games over time, after they're delisted, they're not available digitally anymore, the value seems to go up over time. It might not be right away, but down the road, I could see this getting a little more expensive. So if you can pick it up for $5 or $6, do it. And if you don't have a physical console as a backup to play it on, then yeah, just find it digitally on sale, and I don't think you'll be sorry. Really, my only complaints here are playing it on PC and PS4. The load times are a little bit long. That can be a little annoying, but once you get into the game, they're not so bad, and usually there's a bunch of character dialogue and stuff like that while the game's loading to kind of make it not feel so long. And yeah, a few of those side missions can be a little annoying if you're not playing with other people, but they're largely optional. So yeah, I've been having a blast with this game. I definitely got my money's worth, and I just want to warn you now, if you're at all interested in this game, get it now while you can. I think it's very underrated. Maybe it deserved the negativity when it launched with all those microtransactions and the lack of content and people feeling ripped off at the time, but it's not like that anymore. It's a great value, it's a great time, and it's a shame that it launched the way it did and that it has been such a commercial failure that they had to end support for it only 3 years later. It would have been cool to see even more expansions come out, even more Marvel characters being introduced to it, but well, it looks like we're probably not even going to get a sequel at this point. It's just unfortunate, but hey, don't be sad that it's over. Be happy that it happened, right? So check it out if you haven't, or if you haven't played it since launch. See how it's changed. You get everything for free now. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I will see you next time.